Welcome back to the Art of Opinions. My name is Crystal, and I'm here with
Shalana.
And today's topic is one I would really like to touch on because it's important to me in my life, in my journey of who I've become. I feel like it's shaped who I am today and still growing to be, the Black experience. Now, me and Shalana are obviously both Black, and so I've always felt, even though I don't know, Shalana may disagree, but I've always felt me and Shalana were pretty similar, but there are some obvious differences, and that could be due to the Black experience for both of us. So for me, let me just start off by saying what it was kind of like for me growing up. Growing up, I have never felt accepted by my own people, like my race. I did not feel welcomed into the race. Like I felt like Black people did not even want me to be a part of being Black. Like they would say to me as an insult, and I know it was supposed to be an insult, "Oh, you're really a white girl underneath." You know that's an insult. And I honestly found it very insulting when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And people would try to turn it around on me and be like, "Oh, are you a racist? Why are you insulted by that? Like what? Am I supposed to be proud of you calling? Like, is that supposed to be a good thing that you're telling me? That, oh, I'm really truly white, but I have dark skin? No, I'm Black, and you can't take away my Blackness no matter how much you want." I did feel that way growing up, especially because of my voice. I know the way how I talk. People are like, "Oh, you sound like a white girl, blah, blah, blah." And I'm sure there are lots of Black women out there who've had this issue because you speak properly, or, you know, you don't use as much slang, or you don't even understand the slang terms. And I guess that was my case. So that was the biggest main issue, that I was really white because of my voice. So I was always very self-conscious growing up of my voice, especially because I never wanted to, let me stop lying. I'm not going to say I never wanted to talk because no one could stop me from talking. You know?
Like we can't now.
Yeah. Like I feel like I was always trying to.
Were you ever trying to fit in?
Honestly, I wished that I did fit in, but I never actively tried because I felt like it was a moot point. I never tried to behave in a way I wasn't. So that was the biggest thing for me. What about you, Shalana?
I want to say for me, it was a little bit different. I didn't feel like an outcast or different until I moved upstate New York. So for me, I grew up in the Bronx. So I feel like I grew up in both, but so I was born in the Bronx, and then through elementary school, I predominantly had like a lot of Spanish friends. Their families would always invite me over. Their families were always like
in the Bronx or okay.
In the Bronx, like I had Spanish friends, and I never felt like an outsider, or never felt like I wasn't too Black, or I never felt like I wanted to be Spanish either. It was just like whatever. Like I just
you are. Yeah.
Yeah, basically I am what I am. So I didn't feel anything different. And then when I went to, I want to say it was middle school maybe or whatever, I transferred to a new school in Manhattan, and I went to the New York City School Museum or something like that. And then I had a lot of white friends. So that was a little bit different, but I still never felt like I wasn't Black enough. Like I never felt like that. Like I never felt anything like that living in the city. Then I moved upstate, and like people were just like, "Oh, where are you from?" I'm like, "Oh, I grew up in the Bronx," or whatever. And they're like, "Oh, what were you raised behind, like a white picket fence in the Bronx or something?" Like I wasn't Bronx enough or city enough to, you know?
And they have this stigma.
Yeah, that's when I got that, oh, you sound like a white girl or whatever and stuff like that. And it's just, but
it never really affected you though, right?
It never affected me, but in the sense to say to fit in, I always feel I know you always oh, Shalana has so much fun. I never felt like I fit in. I was just I feel like I had groups of friends, but I always kind of felt like an outsider.
Well, from the outside looking in, let me tell you, you didn't seem that way. For me, it's really surprising that you mentioned the thing between, okay, so I'm from upstate, I'm from Rockland County, and then, we went to high school in Orange County, but before that, I moved to Florida. Now, maybe I got you sound like a white girl thing initially when I was living in Rockland, but when I moved to Florida State, okay, with these, let me stop. I was gonna say with these ghetto-ass people. When I moved to Florida State is when I really felt not accepted at all.
Really?
I mean, I had friends. I've always gotten along very easily with other people. But for people to try to take away a part of my identity,
Yeah.
By trying to take away my race from me. Who are you to do that? Sorry that I speak properly, that I know English. Sorry I don't know words like the slangs they use. That doesn't mean that I'm trying to act like I'm better than you either. It's just that that's how I was raised to talk and that's how I speak, Yeah. And so I remember, the reason I brought this up, hold on, Shalana, let me just say this. It was in 8th grade, or maybe 7th grade. I'm sorry, 7th grade. I'll never forget. Or maybe it was 6th grade. I'm sorry, sometime in middle school. And I still remember the middle school. I'm going to shout it out. McNichol Middle School. McNichol. I really loved that middle school. But I feel like a lot of stuff I went through there shaped who I am today. I was in a class, with math class, right? I've always been very good at math. And I had two Black friends. And the reason I mentioned the race, because like you, thinking about it, I mostly had Spanish friends.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't really start having Black friends till college. But anyways, so I had these 2 Black friends. They were cool. And I remember one time, because everyone always said, oh, I sounded so white, blah, blah, blah. So they wanted to go through lessons with me. You know what they called these lessons? I'll never forget. Ghetto lessons on how to be more ghetto. As if
your friends put you through those lessons?
Yes. The 2 girls, my 2 friends, at the time, yes, ghetto lessons for me in order to blacken me up. It's synonymous. This is the thought that goes through little kids' minds when they're told they're not Black enough, like things like this, like being ghetto is synonymous with being Black, and that's not true, Yeah. And it's not, because this is how little Black kids think of themselves.
Yeah.
They think you got to be ghetto in order to show that you're Black. You know what the lessons consisted of? Oh my gosh. One of the lessons was how to beatbox.
What the?
God forbid if any one of them watched this video. I doubt that they even remember my name. I only remember one of the girls' names. I don't remember that.
You went along with these lessons?
Was I in love with them? No.
Did you go along with these lessons?
Oh, yeah.
So let me hear you beatbox.
I can't beatbox. I never passed any of the lessons.
Yeah, that is crazy. No, so I think, do you feel like do you feel like you're less Black now? Like, do you feel like anything?
No, I don't feel less Black. What I felt from all of this stuff, I feel like going through all of this, being told, you know, like I wasn't Black enough, like I'm not a part of the community.
Yeah.
I feel like it made me stronger to let things roll off my back, you know?
Yeah.
Honestly, it really did truly bother me. It really bothered me. I hated being called white girl, white, like it's, I know you're insulting me, and then trying to turn it around like I'm the bad guy when I'm insulted, when you know you meant it as an insult. And the fact that you're saying you didn't mean it as an insult means that what? You think white people are better or something?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was really, any way you try to spin it, it's messed up. So that's how it shaped me.